You like trouble, oh. So you want to come and see the soup that tastes better than Edikaikong soup. Can you wage this war? Can you fight it? Oh yeah, nah, let's go there. But first, let me run you through the ingredients. The first one I have here is salt. Next, I have Achi. Achi is a thickener. You can use cocoyam, you can also use Quaker oat powder, but I prefer the taste of Achi as a thickener in this soup. Next, I have Ogiri, and this thing smells like no man's business, but it makes the soup delicious, so please always add it. Next, I have crayfish already washed. Next, I have catfish already cleaned with hot water. I also have palm oil here. You need beef or any protein of your choice. I also have cow skin. I went ahead to chop up some of them into pieces as well. Over here, I've got some snails. I cleaned it. I'll show you how I cleaned it in a bit. You will need pepper to your taste, onion and seasoning cube, and then the vegetable we're going to be using for this is water leaf vegetable. Yes, that's the only vegetable I'll be using. So now that we have all our ingredients prepped, let's get started. To clean the snail, you'll either use lime, lemon or alum. I go in with any one of them, it doesn't really matter, but if you ask me, I think I prefer to use the lemon and the lime more. I don't even know why, but I think it's personal preference. So I'm going to scrub the snails very well with the lemon and the lime, making sure I get into every corner of the snails. I'm also going to be changing my water frequently as I do this until all the sliminess from the snail is gone. Then I'm going to slit it open just like this and then scrub that area very well. Scrub every corner of the snail. You don't want any funny thing when you're eating your snail. So I'm going to do that, and once everything is clean, it's done. Very easy. If you're in Nigeria, your snails come with shell. Obviously, you want to break it out from the shell first, but over here in the diaspora, this is how we get our snails. If I'm going to be using the snail in a few minutes after washing it, what I like to do is to add water to the snail, squeeze in one lemon, and then set it aside until I'm ready to use it. Otherwise, I put it in a Ziploc and save it in the freezer. So next, I'm going to cook the meat. I've washed the meat already. So I'm going to add that to a clean pot. Add the onion, the cow skin. This cow skin was already soft. I didn't even need to cook it, but I just wanted to add it. Next, I'll add the snails, seasoning cube, and a very small amount of salt. Cover it and let it cook in its own juice. Beef contains a lot of juice, so I'm going to cook it for the first 10 minutes in its own juice before I add water and complete the cooking process. Pound the crayfish, the pepper and the ogiri in a mortar. You can also blend this as well. Scoop it out once it is roughly smooth and set it aside. This was 10 to 15 minutes later. You can see all the juice that came out from the meat on its own. At this point, the meat have absorbed all those nutrients, so I'm going to now add water to cook the meat. I'm going to add very little amount of water, like half cup of water is fine. But before then, I'm going to take out the cow skin because I don't want it to overcook at all. Like I mentioned earlier, it's soft already. So I'm going to add very little amount of water, cover it and cook for another 10 minutes. While that is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and prep the water leaf. You want to make sure you wash this very well to remove all the sand from it. You don't want to make that mistake of biting into sand in your vegetable soup anytime at all. So you want to make sure you rinse it very well. I rinsed multiple times until all the sand in it was gone, so you really want to take time to wash the vegetable. Look at all the sand that came out from this. So I'm going to repeat the process until it's completely clean. So after washing, this next step is very important because water leaf have this slimy texture when it's cooked. So the aim here is to try to reduce that by washing it with salt and cold water. Please don't use hot water because we don't want to blanch this vegetable. Wash with salt and cold water. I washed mine multiple times, like 3 times, and rinsed it under running water, and it was fine. After washing it, slice it up and set that aside as well. So back to the meat. At this point, I'm going to add the fish so everything can cook. Then I'll reintroduce the cow skin. Add a bit more water. Now the water I'm adding should be at the same level as the content of the pot. This is going to be our base for the soup. Then I'll add the pounded pepper, crayfish, and ogiri. Stir that in. Add the palm oil. Cover it and let it heat up for 5 minutes. It's been boiling for 5 minutes now. I'm going to taste for seasoning and salt, adjust if necessary. Then I'm going to add the thickener, which is the Achi. So you don't want to overdo this. I use 2 tablespoons, which is just perfect. A little go a long way with this thickener. I'm going to cover it now and let it heat on high heat for another 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, you can see the soup have thickened up already. Now I'm going to add my water leaves and just cover it so it can simmer on very low heat for about a minute or 2, and I'll be back. This was exactly 2 minutes later, and oh my god, the aroma in this kitchen is heaven. Let me start with that. I'm not trying to blow any trumpet here, but this soup is worth trying out. Try it out and see for yourself. Send me pictures on Instagram at The Joyful Cook. Subscribe here if you're new. My name is Ngozi. Welcome. Do not forget to hit the like button. Turn your notification bell on so you'll be among the first to know anytime I upload a new video. So I tasted at this point and I thought I needed just a tiny bit of salt. So I just drizzled in a bit of salt, stir that in, and it is ready. Guys, this thing, the only downside to this soup is that you'll be eating and eating and eating without control. So bring out your control tower. This is interesting. Subscribe. I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.